Welcome into Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having fantastic, what's the day of the week? Fridays. Fantastic Fridays, wherever you may be across this great country or this great land. Got to knock out the show today. Encourage you to go read the mailbag. It's fantastic. Lots of really good stuff in there. I hope all of you have fantastic weekends as we prepare to roll into the weekend. But I got a lot of stuff that I'm going to jump into here, and then I'm headed back out to the beach. Been at the beach for 2 weeks. Went to Dave & Buster's last night. Yes, Dave & Buster's is back open in the state of Florida. If you haven't already known it, the world is getting back to normal, and the opening of restaurants is a big part of that. And we got a lot to get to. So go read the mailbag. Several different things I'm going to hit. I'm going to get to the NFL, just deciding to just cannonball in with the dumbest idea maybe in the entire history of Roger Goodell's regime. We're going to get to that in a minute. But first, coronavirus update. Things are getting a lot better in a hurry, despite the doom and gloom that many people are peddling to you out there. The overall number of infections is declining. We have got a overall number of infection positivity going down. The number of deaths are rapidly declining, and this is a big point. I'd encourage you to go check out my Twitter feed at Clay Travis so you can go out there and be able to see it all. This is pretty fascinating. Coronavirus update. Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Texas have all been open for 2+ weeks. And everything is declining in all of those states. Georgia, which the quote-unquote mainstream media told you was going to be an unmitigated disaster, has instead had absolutely no issues at all, as they have now been open for 3 weeks. And wherever you are across this great land, I think it's important to know that Georgia should be the #1 story in all of America. Georgia should be the #1 story in America. State opens back up. It's been open for 3 weeks. Hospitalizations are down. Infections are down. And deaths are down. Instead, it's not anywhere. Should be the #1 story in America. What do you think would happen if Georgia, the opposite of what I just said, had happened? It would be leading every newscast in America, and everybody would be saying, oh my God, we can never open again. Look at what happened to Georgia. Georgia's a cautionary tale. Everybody out there is terrified. We got to stay in our houses until there's a vaccine for this virus. That's what the media would be saying. But things are going fantastically well, and nobody is paying attention to it at all. Infections down, hospitalizations down, deaths down, all of that. There are a lot of people rooting for awfulness, for doom and gloom, the fear porn, which has characterized, unfortunately, most in the media's coverage of the coronavirus since this all started. Florida is opening more up on Monday. Florida, under Governor Ron DeSantis, just asked theme parks to present on Monday a plan to reopen. Things are going so well in Florida that they are opening up the gyms. Restaurants are going to be half capacity now. Where I am right now in Florida, we're going to have everything opening up in a hurry, and as a result, this entire process is getting better. The states that have opened are doing better than the states that have remained closed, not just in their economy, but elsewhere. And I would just come back around again and again, and I keep saying it, and I keep all the coverage saying it. Look, initially we were told we had to go shelter in place to avoid overloading hospitals. Hospitals came nowhere near overloading. And now we're being told we have to shelter in place until there are vaccines available. The mayor of Los Angeles, did you see this? The mayor of Los Angeles said, if you go outside in Los Angeles, doesn't matter what you're doing, surf, jog, throw baseball with your son or daughter, garden, you're supposed to have a mask on. How in the world, he can make a suggestion, but how in the world do mayors of cities have the right to require citizens to wear masks? This is where I come back around and say the Wisconsin Supreme Court got it right. Look, you don't give up your constitutional rights because there are dangers in the world, especially not dangers like the coronavirus. This is absolute insanity. And reasonable people, I don't want to make it political, reasonable people who are Republicans, reasonable people who are Democrats need to be standing up to this absurdity and fighting against it. But I give credit to the Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, to Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia, to Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, to Governor Abbott down in the state of Texas, and also to Governor Stitt up in Oklahoma. All 5 of those states are back up and running, and everybody is doing better. The Corona bros are running for the hills because things are getting better, and they've got to go find a new apocalypse to be concerned about. The media has not done a good job of covering this. Arizona is open. Colorado is open. You can name all of the other states that are in there, and you'll be able to check them out. As a part of this, okay? As a part of this, SEC football and SEC athletics in general, other than the idiot governor from Kentucky, by Saturday, every SEC state is going to be open. And by June the 1st, every SEC state, all 11 of them, are probably going to have their gyms back open. And so in June, I believe all SEC athletes will be going back to campus, and they will be preparing for the start of the regular season. For everybody out there who has been wondering whether college football is going to happen, in June, SEC players are going to be back on campus. All right? They're going to vote soon, and I believe by June 15th, everybody will be back on campus in the SEC. And for people out there who are the Corona bros and they want to run around like their hair is on fire and everything else, here's a simple question for you. If all the states of the SEC, except for the idiot governor from Kentucky, who has not opened up his state, if all the other 10 states of the SEC are open, what's the difference between a kid being able to go to a Planet Fitness and work out versus being able to go to an on-campus facility? Isn't it safer to have those kids on campus in your universities where you can monitor and test them and make sure that they are healthy than have them going into public gyms all over the SEC states? I'm sorry. As soon as the states all have open gyms inside of those states, it is safer to have athletes back on the college campuses and ready. And remember, by the way, when Mike Gundy got ripped, Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State head football coach, got ripped for saying, hey, I expect for our guys to be back by mid-May or June. Guess who ended up being almost 100% right? Almost 100% right was Mike Gundy. And all the blue checkmark mafia, all the blue checkmark Twitter brigade went after him. And the reality was that Mike Gundy ended up almost being 100% right. And by the way, if your school doesn't want players back on campus, you don't have to do it, right? Majority rules. If a guy like Lincoln Riley says, hey, I don't think it's time to bring our players back, he doesn't have to do it. He can tell his players to keep using public gyms all over the country and try to get back in shape instead of coming back on campus. For most of us out there, there is no doubt at all that the truth of the matter is that we should be back open. It's an easy solution. It's going to happen in June. It's going to be back rolling. And as a result, SEC schools are going to be back rolling. And guess what will happen? The minute that SEC schools open and start getting on campus, do you know who will suddenly change his tune and say, oh, by the way, we need athletes back on campus? Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's entire tune will change, And he will be like, oh, you know what? We need to get guys back on campus too. And I want to keep reiterating this because a lot of people who are young watch this. This is the truth. You are more likely to die in a car driving to campus in the fall than you are from the coronavirus on the campus. Okay? Think about that for a minute. You are more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to die of the coronavirus if you are under the age of 24. These are important factual data points. You need to be able to understand and look at overall data to make intelligent decisions about when colleges reopen and when they are going to be able to accept kids back on their campus. This is not a difficult decision. This is insanely easy. The data all points to the same result. Schools need to open back up sooner rather than later. Colleges need to be all off and running by the fall. This is an easy solution that is supported by all of the data. And when the SEC athletes get back on campus in June, when that happens, then everybody else will follow and we will be ready for the return of college football. And the debate will shift from will college football happen? The answer, by the way, is yes. The debate will shift from will college football happen to will fans be present for college football games? And that'll be a decision that's made later. But the games themselves are going to happen, period. NFL. I got to tee off on the NFL. First of all, how dumb are Deandre Baker and Quinton Dunbar based on what they are alleged to have done? You have two NFL cornerbacks with multi-million-dollar salaries that are accused of robbing people of watches at gunpoint at a party. This is one of the dumbest decisions I have ever seen in the history of dumb athlete decisions. First of all, let me just start here. You should never rob somebody of something that you can already afford yourself. Let's leave aside the morality. If you have the money already to buy the thing that you are stealing, why are you stealing it? Just go buy it, all right? I don't care about big watches, right? I use my phone to check the time. It works really well. It's a little bit after 3 Central right now while I'm talking to you. If I wanted to buy a $20,000 watch, I'm not trying to be a big baller for you, but I can go buy a $20,000 watch in 15 minutes. Boom, I got one. If I can buy it, why would I steal it? This is so insanely dumb. Quentin Nelson just got traded to the Seahawks, and he said he wanted to send a good message to the team literally the day it happened. Deandre Baker has got $9 million guaranteed under his rookie contract. Why would you steal a watch from someone at gunpoint? If I were at this party, and if somebody walked in while they were at the party, the most famous people at the party, by the way, the people who are actually Quinton Dunbar, sorry. The people who are actually the most famous at the party. And you think you're going to get away with an armed robbery? I would think I was being pranked. If somebody walked around with a gun at a party that I was at, and they were pro athletes, I would totally think I was getting pranked. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in the history of the NFL, which is saying something. These guys are just, frankly, if this allegation is true, these guys are too stupid to actually play in the league. I mean, frankly, I couldn't employ them. Not because of what they did, but because they're too stupid. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. All right, speaking of a no-brainer, the NFL is right now, the NFL has been on fire. Everything has been going flawless for the NFL. The NFL managed to keep free agency going. They managed to do the draft. Everybody is singing the praises of the NFL like crazy. And then the NFL on Friday afternoon drops this plan that they are voting on. I'm reading directly from the NFL.com article. If a team, this is real life, if a team hires a minority head coach, then they would move up 6 spots in the 3rd round. A team would jump 10 spots if they hire a minority head coach and a minority general manager. If they hire both in the same year, they would jump 16 spots. 6 for the coach, 10 for the GM. They could move from the 3rd round to the 2nd round. I saw this and I thought, my God, this can't be real. This is so insanely dumb. It can't be real. Let me just take a step back here right now. I don't care what race or gender or religion or ethnicity anybody that's employed by my favorite football team is. I want them to do one thing. I want them to win. That is the number one goal of everybody who is an NFL fan. We don't care about anything by and large other than wins. If you told me that a transgender dwarf was going to be the best quarterback in the NFL, I would sing his praises or her praises or whatever it is to the high heavens. I would get their preferred pronoun put on the front of my jersey, a t-shirt, and I would wear it with pride. Do you know why? Because they would win. It would win. She, them, z, whatever the pronouns are that people like. That person would be a winner. If other teams are choosing not to hire anyone at any position because of their race, then that is called racism. But if any teams are hiring somebody because of their race, that is also called racist. Then in a meritocracy, if there's a huge collection of minority GMs and head coaches that are being overlooked, your team, by not being racist, would actually have a better chance of winning, right? Think about this. This is, I believe, what Bill Belichick has done with white wide receivers. I think Bill Belichick believed that there was an inefficiency in the NFL market, that white wide receivers were being consistently undervalued, and so he made the decision to start signing white wide receivers because he believed other teams were overlooking and he could get them at a better value and he would be able to win. The way to fix inequality is not by creating stupid artificial rules like this one that the NFL is debating. It's by the teams that are the most egalitarian kicking the crap out of everybody else because the NFL is a copycat league. If somebody wins doing something that somebody else hasn't done, then they get copied. The way to take advantage of the NFL, if there is an opportunity, is to recognize an inefficiency in the market. A coach who's good, that other people don't expect to be good, is an inefficient market that you can grab. The same thing is true of a GM. The same thing is true of any player. Your job, if you're in a hyper-competitive industry, is to exploit inefficiencies in the market and as a result be more successful than you otherwise would have been. Hire the best people and you have a better chance of winning. If you're not hiring the best people, then you get fired. Everybody in the NFL, it is an incredible meritocracy. Okay? This flies in the face of that. I think it is a really bad decision by the NFL. This is also intriguing as I look at the numbers. As I look at the numbers, the city of Nashville, by the way, let me talk a little bit more about this. This also creates an incentive to lie, right? Because how are people going to look into this? It also begs the question, what is a minority? Is somebody who is 1/4 Asian a minority? Do they count under this process? Is somebody who gets a job that is not actually working in that job, but just gets it for purposes of putting it on a resume? Is it going to be exploited? This is a no-brainer in my mind. We should focus on equal opportunity, not equal outcomes. There's a big difference between the two. I had the same opportunity to be an NFL starting quarterback as Tom Brady. We did not have equal outcomes because Tom Brady was a lot better than I was. It gets me fired up. Gambling stocks. I hope, regardless of who you are, you listened to me and bought gambling stocks because they have been absolutely on fire. By the way, a lot of you making Elizabeth Warren jokes. Would Elizabeth Warren count as a minority? Somebody hired her as the GM or a head coach? Would they get a bump up in the overall draftability areas? Whoever had that stupid idea at the NFL should be fired for being an idiot. Gambling stocks are on fire. I hope you listened to me. I hope you bought all the gambling stocks I told you to make. If so, over the past 2 months, you basically have paid for your retirement. I mean, we have been on fire in a way that I never anticipated would happen in the last 2 months. DraftKings, Penn, William Hill, all of the companies that I gave you out have been incredibly phenomenal. I hope you went and bought them. Finally, there are a couple of different things also that I wanted to share. The city of Nashville was criticized incorrectly by the media for the rate of coronavirus infection increasing in the city at a rate that wasn't actually happening. And as a result, we finally got a clap back where the media got called out for getting everything wrong at the Senate hearing. I talked about that on Tuesday. Final thought as we go into the weekend. Seattle Post-Intelligencer newspaper reports the state of Washington now believes that there were people with the coronavirus in their state in December. This means before we locked down anything in this country, the virus was circulating in December, January, February, and into March. It was in crowds in athletic events, probably at the Super Bowl, probably at the AFC and the NFC championship games, probably also at all the NBA games that were going on throughout December, January, February, and on into March. This is a big deal. It's been here for a long time. A lot of people have had it. And as a result, the overall impact of the coronavirus continues to decline substantially. Half almost of the people who have died of the coronavirus have been inside of nursing homes. We need to protect the most vulnerable, but we need the young and the healthy to be out there working. Have fabulous weekends. If you can, go out to restaurants. If you're fortunate enough to still be employed, tip your servers well. Get the economy back rolling. Start it this weekend. I'm going out for dinner for a 14th straight day in the state of Florida. Thanks to Ron DeSantis for the great job that he has done in this state. I appreciate all of you. My name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. DBAP, unless you need to SBAP, I will see you guys, unless something crazy happens, again on Monday. We'll be breaking down The Last Dance, the final 2 episodes of the Michael Jordan documentary on Radio Monday. Hope you have fantastic weekends. My name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. See y'all. Bye.